Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back to my garage, my man cave, for another day of wonderful accountability. And how are you guys doing today with your accountability? I hope you guys are doing as well as I am. Today is Friday, it's May 8th in the year 2020, and I want to talk to you today about Daniel, specifically Daniel 6, where it talks about decision making and shall we compromise our values or shall we confirm our choices? Now, Daniel lived in a time where King Darius was a Persian king that was in charge. During Darius's rule, he put 120 administrators in charge of his kingdom so that he didn't have to take any of the fall for if anything happened. He could just blame it all on the administrators. Now, Daniel was blessed by God. He followed the laws of the land, he followed God with his heart, and so King Darius was going to make him in charge of all of the kingdom over all of the administrators. So the other admins got really angry at that, and they went to the king and made a backdoor deal and told him, look, nobody, well, first of all, they told him that they wanted the king to make a law that nobody could pray to any other being or any other thing other than the king for 30 days. And if they did, they'd be thrown to the lions. So at first, King Darius he wasn't really receptible to that. Like, he didn't really understand where they were coming from. He didn't want to do it. But the group of admins were adamant about it, and they got the law passed. So for 30 days, you couldn't pray to anything or anyone other than the king. And that's where we find Daniel, who weighed his options and went to pray 3 times a day like he always did. He prayed to God. And after they had that law passed, those admins went to Daniel's house because they knew that he prayed to God 3 times a day. Now, when they saw it with their own eyes, they went back to the king and told the king, hey, king, you remember when you put into law and put it down on paper that no one should pray to anybody other than you for 30 days or be thrown into the lion's den? And the king said yes. And then they said, well, Daniel is praying to God and not you, and you need to throw him into the lion's den. So the king didn't really want to do that because the king had favor with Daniel, but the admins had to remind the king that once you put the decree on paper as the king, you cannot change the law. And so the king had his hands tied, so he had to throw Daniel into the lion's den. He told Daniel that he needs to pray to his God to save him because there's nothing else that he could do about it. So the king, with a distressed heart, banished him to the den of lions. Now, the Bible said that the king was sad when that happened and that he couldn't sleep that night. He was restless. So in the morning, when the king woke up, he had really crappy sleep all night long, but when he did eventually get to wake, he went to the den, which was sealed with his signet ring and his advisor's signet rings, so that everybody knew not to just move this stone that was in front of the den. So when they did move it, the Bible says that King Darius called to Daniel in an anguished voice, saying, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions? Now get this. Daniel answered, my God sent his angels and shut the mouths of the lions, and they have not hurt me. So the king gave the orders to remove Daniel from the lion's den, and when they did, they went and checked out Daniel to make sure that he wasn't injured in any way, and they found no wounds on him at all because Daniel trusted God. So Darius had that group of admins that came to him and had Daniel thrown into the pit. They rounded them up. They rounded their families up, wives and children, the Bible says, and they threw all of them into the lion's den for falsely accusing Daniel of what he was accused of. So the Bible also says that before those people reached the floor of the lion's den, the lions killed them, all of them, and crushed their bones. So Darius issued a decree across his kingdom that the religion that they were going to follow is Christianity, because God is the living God and he endures forever. But it was because of Daniel's faith that a whole kingdom could be saved. So Daniel had to decide whether to submit to an ungodly law or stick to his guns and stay with his convictions. Now we see that Daniel chose his life principles, but how did he do it? So Daniel weighed out the options that were before him. He asked if the choices forced him to compromise his personal values. He searched for wise counsel. He counted the cost. He decided on principles, and he acted on his decision swiftly and stood by his decision. We need to be confident like Daniel when it comes to the decisions. We need to set a specific set of values in place in order to help our decision making. Most of all, we need to trust God in those decisions that were made. Once we can place those values and principles, making tough decisions becomes less scary. How well do you trust your decisions? How well do you trust God? Can you put your money where your principles are? And can you stand in front of the lion's den, stare those lions straight in the eye, face to face, and know that God's got your back? That's something that I strive to work on every day, to have that tenacity like Daniel had, to be able to have that vigor that would just show what kind of man of integrity, what kind of man of God that I am. I want that for my life, and I want that for all my friends and family's lives. I don't want anybody to be scared of making decisions. I don't want anybody to be scared of this life. I don't want anybody to be scared of death. Knowing where we're going to go, knowing that God's got our back, has eased my nerves, and it's calmed my heart. So if anybody you know that's struggling needs to hear this, go ahead and share this video with them. It's easy to do. Click the share button and put their name in, or put their email in. Get this video in their hands. If you like what I'm talking about, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. If you do like what I'm talking about, hit that bell if you want to see more videos, because I'll post them every day. This is my accountability trek. So in reading the Bible and learning what I learn, I make a video and I talk about it. So lastly, I want to say, if you guys are struggling, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Leave a comment there. I can respond to you, or hit me up on social media. You can find that on my the header of my YouTube channel. And I'd love to take some time to get with you and talk to you about anything that you're dealing with. Maybe even pray for you if you need it. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you tomorrow at my man cave and on my couch. Have a good day.